Welcome back to Discover NL. I'm Mark Wareham. Very pleased to be joined in the studio by Petten and Joyce Morgan. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
So we'll get the formalities out of the way. Iris, you're the president of the Portagrave Peninsula Heritage Society, and Joyce, you're the program manager.
Yes.
And we'll figure out what all that means. After all, it really means is that you love Portagrave and you're doing your best for the community and the entire peninsula, because that's something that was important. We mentioned off camera. You're not just saying Portagrave, you're saying Portagrave Peninsula. So what's the difference in that, including Bare Need?
Yeah, it is including Bare Need, and of course, yes, if you've grown up and born in the area, well, then of course I'm from the area. I live in town now, but I have a house in Brigus, but I still love to come back. It's still very much home for me.
Right. And Joyce, of course, anyone from this area knows you for your photography and everything else. But in this particular role as program manager, I guess you really get to take a leadership role with all your volunteers and come up with things that highlight the community.
Yeah, we come up and I help out with when I'm not working with them, I'm volunteering with them.
Right.
And I do all their social media, their websites, keep that all up to date. And of course, you know that I'm a photographer and I'm always snapping pictures and recording all the events that happens in Portagrave and on the peninsula.
Right. And of course, you know, in such a big world we live in, and people are all over the world, and people who grew up in Portagrave are living everywhere. How better than to have a beautiful website, which is portagravepeninsula.ca, and you know, a website like yours where you link to your pictures, because when you're looking at it from a historical perspective, I mean, if you're not physically there, the only way to see it is through picture or video.
We got followers right across the country and down to the States, and every time there's an event, I post pictures on it, so they're part of it. They feel like they're part of it. I wish we were there.
Right.
Like I go down to the lighthouse and do pictures of the sea rolling and video, and they're coming back. I can remember that when I was a boy.
They can smell it almost. They can smell the salt water.
Yeah.
Speaking of the lighthouse, we have so much to talk about in a short amount of time. But the Green Point Lighthouse, it's probably one of the only ones you can drive right to it. And I remember way back my first year in this area, I remember just driving and exploring, and I ended up down there. I had a Jeep at the time, and I went right up on the hill, and I was like, where are the cameras? Like, this is a commercial, and you know, so that's just one of the things there. You've got a focus, of course, on tourism, and everyone thinks about the boat lighting. You know, that's December 8th this year, 25th anniversary. And now 2 days later, this is something I really love too, the Crab Pot Christmas tree. Can you talk a little?
2 days before.
I said after, sorry. 2 days before, which is the 6th of December, you've got that, and that's a beautiful, for those people that haven't seen it, you know, the design of that and the lighting and everything. But people can actually donate. You can kind of buy a crab pot and you can, you know, be a part of it.
Well, what we're doing is not buying a crab pot, but sponsoring a crab pot.
Sponsoring, yes.
So what it is that we have local fishermen who donate, you know, the use of their pots, and they help with the construction. We have a number of crews, and it seems like every year we have more volunteers that come in, and we're always looking for more volunteers. But they, for the use of their crab pot, and there was one of the fishermen, Petten, who came up with the design around because it's all around how you anchor it first to get it to light. Because this past year, it was 520 crab pots, and it was almost 20 feet tall.
18 crab pots.
Crab pots.
Crab pot is 24 inches
around.
It's just, but what a beautiful, and so those are a couple iconic things that I know people from all around the world kind of are aware of, and you know, as a heritage society, it's something that you, not only the past you want to preserve, but creating these new things and that other people can enjoy and make people feel like they're still home when they're living away. But tourism is what we know, that it's such a beautiful fishing community, and I guess that's how it's become famous and in a lot of ways and done so well in the fishing industry. But you're looking at tourism now as well.
Yeah, we're laying the tourism onto the what made Portagrave such a success is the fishing industry. So if you've come out there to look at the boat lighting, which we're encouraging you to continue that, but come back again in the summer.
Right.
Come back another time and explore. And one of the things we would like to do is offer, picnics. We're going to do a picnic app this year, where we'll have local people talking about the different areas that you can go in, you can connect into your social media or your phone, and you'll hear all about the different areas. You can go to the Greenpoint Lighthouse, you can go up by the Arbor Authority building and look over the arbor, and there's a place there where you can picnic. You can pick up your lunch at the Canon Richards Tea Room, which will be open for the season. And then of course also the shalloways down in the pond in the middle of the community. There is a pond where we learned how to skate in the winter, and we learned how to swim in the summer, and now we've got one of the local boat builders, Vernon Petten, who's actually built the shalloways, and so you can learn how to scull. You can take the boats out for, row around the pond. You can even do a competition because there's two of them. And so we also did a contest for that to try and look at fundraising and raising money. And we did a plan where we've offered if anybody would like to name those boats, and they could have the naming rights for so many years. And that's how we would look at trying to raise money and try to do different things. But that's a way of looking at talking about our heritage as well.
Absolutely.
And we have also got a donation now of a boat, one of these shalloways, and we've got an Acadia engine that will be in it, and we're going to offer that up on auction. So that's a new feature that's going to be coming this year, of trying to get people interested in saying what would they like to bid on it, and also to look at and talk about it.
I remember my first time driving through the area, and I was like, where did this pond come from? It just seems like, you're up on the almost some of the highest place, and then there's this beautiful, big pond. And for people who have, done it and haven't since they were, children, but for people, especially tourists, to be able to do that and just get your picture taken and experience what that feels like, I think that's so important. And again, your tourism logo, I know we got to wrap up, but the light in the community, just talk a little bit about the different forms of light, I guess, that we're talking about.
Well, we looked at a few years ago, about 4 years ago, putting together a community development plan. So we wanted to look at, in 5 years, 10 years, what would we like, for tourism to look like in the community? So we've looked at the St. Mark's Heritage Church, which is located right next to the Canon Richards Tea Room. We've now taken all of the inside out of the church, and we're doing it in phases. And we've done a partnership with the Canadian Coast Guard Auxiliary, and they've closed the light stations from across Newfoundland and Labrador. So we're looking at some of those artifacts of going in, but what we want to do is have something which is interactive that you can touch. Maybe there will be a 3D, there will be in the middle of the light where you can actually look at the light. So we're in the process of doing that right now. So we've used a theme in the community of light, whether it's the spiritual light from the church, whether it's the light from the lighthouse or the beacon in the community. So we're using that theme, where is the colorful lights in the arbor with Christmas time. So it's all about that theme of light. So we want for people to come and experience and feel what that means to them as well.
Thank you for sharing your light and your passion for Portagrave. And Iris and Joyce, you're welcome back to the show anytime.
Thank you.
No problem. I'll see you Christmas time for sure.
Definitely.
The 6th and the 8th of December.
Come down
and the summer. There you go.
Summer too.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back with more Discover NL after this.